All right, today I'm going to share with y'all a realtor real estate secret that if you're a realtor watching this, you're probably going to roll your eyes or maybe even get upset that I'm saying this. But if you're a seller, you need to hear this. So here is why. Okay, when I first got into real estate, I was a teacher before. I didn't understand why a lot of people don't like real estate agents. After being in the industry almost 7 years, I completely understand why a lot of people don't like their realtors or realtors in general, and we get thrown into a broad sense of a real estate agent from having to deal with realtors all the time, you know, every day throughout transactions and stuff. So here's what I'm gonna say. One of the biggest secrets to selling a home from a realtor's perspective, your agent, there's a lot of good agents out there, a lot of good agents. There's a lot of agents that aren't very good. Your realtor, a lot of realtors do not care whether your home sells or not if they list your house. They do not care. They're gonna tell you what you wanna hear to be able to put their sign in the yard. They don't care if they overprice it. They don't care if it sells. They're going to tell you what they want to hear. They're going to put their sign in the yard. Here's why. They're using you. They're using your home with their sign in the yard, marketing it, videos, putting it online to sell other houses. They have buyers calling them. I have buyers calling me on my listings, wanting to look at your house, and it's priced too high, and they're taking those buyers and they're selling them other houses. They're also marketing your house and getting other listings a lot of the time too. So that is why your agent told you that it's going to sell at this. Not all the time, obviously, not all the time. Even I've made mistakes before and I've overpriced homes, but they're using you. They're using your home. They're using your house to get other listings because they told you what you want to hear. That's why you went with the agent. If you hired multiple agents, you hired the one that told you that they were going to sell it for the most money because they didn't really care that much. The number one complaint, if you talk to people like in studies and stuff, NAR does this, the number one complaint that people have with the real estate agent, as far as listing agents, they listed your house and then they quit calling you after a while. They quit giving you feedback. They quit keeping up with you, touching base with you once a week or whatever they told you they're going to do, because they know, and they knew right from the beginning that they were over listing your house, and they don't want to call you and tell you the truth or whatever. I've called expired listings where the seller hasn't spoke with the agent in like 6 months, which is outrageous to me. And it just makes me wonder either how many homes have they sold or how many buyers did they take that called on your house and went and sold them a different house. Here's why I even thought about this. Because just recently, I say recently, within the last few months, the most recent, I lose listings fairly often. I say fairly often, a few a year, because I don't want to have to call you in 3 months or whatever and say, hey, you know, we need to drop your price. We overpriced your home, blah, blah, blah. So I'm genuinely going to do my best to tell you what I think your house is going to sell for right from the start. Because I do that, I've lost listings before, because if you're interviewing other agents, there's always another agent that says they're going to sell it for more. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Make that realtor justify to you how are they going to sell it for more. Whenever I come to your house, unless you have just this unique property, I'm going to have some good comparable properties, and I'm going to show you this is what it's going to sell for. This is why. These are comparables. We may give your house more value because of certain things. We may give it less value because of certain things. But I'm going to do my best to justify it, and we're going to try to come to an agreement and say, okay, what do we think? We're going to work together on that. The most previous one, or the most recent one I lost, was just north of me, like 2 miles. And I had to give him bad news because it was, I'm not even going to say the builder, but they bought the home. It was literally like the most expensive home because literally right after they bought the home, they started lowering prices because not very many homes were selling in this neighborhood. So they bought this home, I don't remember, I think it was like $419 or something like that. The home, actually, I think it was more than that. I want to say it's more like probably 430. Not important. They lowered the home. So that exact floor plan now for this particular seller, they're selling for like 315, I think. I'm making these numbers up because I don't have them right in front of me, but it still applies to what I'm saying. What do you call it? The point. My point is still the same. So I told them like, hey, you know, and that builder's given $10,000 incentives on top of that. So they're really closer to 400. So I told the sellers like, hey, listen, I know you paid this much for the house, but the big but here's what this exact same floor plan, brand new, people are willing to pay significant amount of money more for a brand new house, even for a house that's 2 years old in the same neighborhood, everything. So I told him the price. I told him like, hey, you may list at 410, see what happens. It could even be around 399 because you just don't know sometimes whenever you're competing against brand new builds. So I follow up with him. He hires another agent that he says that knows the neighborhood better, which is kind of funny because I literally live right next to it, but it's okay. That told him 425. And 162 days later, the house is still sitting on the market for 425. So that's just a point to get or some data to get my point across that people do that. So my whole point of saying this is interview your agents and make them justify why your house is going to sell for this. Otherwise, it puts stress on you. It's no fun sitting on the market. You lose your competitive advantage against buyers, and you're just sitting there, you're getting frustrated, you're keeping your house clean to show it, no one's coming to look at it, and it's just no fun. So make sure you interview your agents, make sure you have them justify why your house is gonna sell for this, and interview a couple agents and see who you like and see who. There's a NAR stat that sellers, they hire like 92% of sellers hire the first agent they talk to, which is crazy because oftentimes this is most people's biggest investment is their house, and they're not taking the time to interview at least one more agent. So anyway, that's a big secret for the real estate industry. And I hope this helps you, at least give you some knowledge moving forward, especially if you never sold a home before. Now, if you've gone through this, you know, because I have those conversations too, because I know who's sold a home before and who's gone through this because they asked me these questions. So anyway, oh, there was one more thing I pulled up so just in Mustang and Yukon alone, the last 365 days, 681 homes expired. Obviously, there's multiple reasons why that would have happened, but I bet you a lot of it is because their home was overpriced, they didn't interview their agent, and they listed it for what they wanted it to sell for. A lot of times you're contingent, so you found a house you love, but your house isn't selling, just creates a bunch of stress. So anyway, if you need any help, give me a call. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to help you.